William Shinkman was a very special person. He created this puzzle in the year 1905. And what's incredible is that the solution is 102 moves long. Yes, that's correct. White to play and win in 102 moves. And what's even more crazy is I think you guys can actually solve this if you think about what the idea might be as opposed to trying to find a specific move. Of course, you're not going to be able to analyze 102 moves. But if you think about the idea, you might be able to solve it. Before I say anything else and give it away, white to play and win, look at the position carefully. What do you think the winning idea is here for white? Black's pawns are going this way, of course. White to play and win. All right, well, if you had a chance to look at that, I'm going to actually go ahead and turn on something here. I'm going to turn on the analysis. And this is going to show you, first of all, what Stockfish is looking at. You can see Stockfish thinks it's better for black because black has so many pieces, and Stockfish gets confused in positions like this. And then you can also see the moves here that we're going to be looking at so that you can eventually see that it actually is 102 moves. So let's talk about what's going on. The first thing you need to understand, black's king is trapped. The bishop is cutting across here. This is cutting here. This is here. The king cannot move. That's part number one. The other part is all of these pieces over here, believe it or not, are actually stuck. And you say, well, can't the knights move somewhere? Well, yes, this knight can move, but if you move it anywhere, I'm just going to take it. Well, it's white's turn. Let's say I go here, which is the move. If you move the knight anywhere, I'm just going to take it. And if you move the other knight anywhere, you no longer defend this square, and now you get checkmated from my bishop. Remember, the king is trapped. So if I'm able to put you in check like this, it's just checkmate. Game is over. Okay? So that's the first thing you need to understand. The king is trapped, and all these pieces over here are essentially stuck. The next thing, even though black has all these pawns, they're all blockaded. You can't get a queen here. You can't get a queen here. You can't get a queen here. So the pawns are kind of useless. And then you have this bishop, which is the next important thing. Now, the bishop is controlling b4 so that we don't just checkmate black right here. So, for example, if black decides to move the bishop, I don't know, over here, the game is just over. There's just a simple checkmate. So the black bishop has to stay on this diagonal to stop the checkmate on b4. And this is the secret to the position. So if we go back to the beginning here, right now, it's our turn. We have to move. And as soon as we move our king somewhere, let's just say, the bishop now has places to go, right? We open up this square. And by the way, I should mention this before I move on any further. Taking the bishop doesn't work for us because we needed our knight to be controlling those squares, because now black can move their knights. Let's just say knight c6. We take it. They move this knight to d6. And remember, there was a checkmate before. There's no checkmate because our knight needed to be there, and the king would escape. If we try that, yes, you can take this, but now the bishop is involved, the rook is involved, and black's actually going to win. So you can't take the bishop. That's all to say that, okay? So going back to this diagonal with the bishop here, the way you win this puzzle, listen carefully, is putting black in a Zugzwang where they can't move the bishop anywhere and they have to push a pawn. And eventually, and this is why the puzzle takes so many moves, eventually they run out of pawn moves and then you can win. So what does this look like in practice? Well, you move your king over. Remember, the bishop has to stay along this diagonal. You can't go here because it's just checkmate. You can't go here because we just take it. So you have to go to e1. And then we move our king. We take away this square. So there's only one option here for black. They go to d2. And then we do this dance with our king. And gets a little bit complicated. But what you have to remember is that initial position. So let me just show you. They're going to move their bishop. We go here. And we're just trying to set up this exact moment. King to b2. King to c1. And notice what we've accomplished. The bishop can no longer go here. It has to go to c3. But after it goes to c3, we play king to d1. This is the exact same position that started the puzzle 8 moves ago. But it's black's turn now. And black can't move here and can't move here. So what does black have to do? Well, we already talked about they can't move any of these. Guess what? They got to start pushing the pawns. Okay, h3. What do? Guess what? We do it again. We do that whole dance again. Here we go. What does black have to do? Push a pawn. And now we're on move 16. And guess what? We do it again. And now we're on move 24. And notice the pawns keep going forward. So I'm going to speed this up for you guys. And Stockfish, notice, eventually thinks that it's a draw somewhere along the way here. Okay, it switches. And there's another pawn push. And let's keep going. Let's keep going. Notice, all the pawns are getting pushed. All the pawns are getting pushed from the same technique. One more time. Here we go. And finally, Black is running out of options. And now, Stockfish understands what's going on and sees the checkmate. And the final way is we do this one more time. We essentially cut off the bishop from having any options right here. D2. And there was probably a little quicker trick there with Stockfish, but whatever. This is how the original composer intended it. You give this up, and you have no way to stop the checkmate. There it is. Fascinating. Look at that. 102 moves because Black was just in Zugzwang. You had to just push these pawns. This is not the first puzzle that we've seen like this on Chess Vibes. There's another one kind of similar but different with the queen jumping all around. If you want to watch that one next, I'm going to link it here. I think it's going to be this way. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll see you next time. Stay sharp. Play smart. Take care.